Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name is Nick, and today guys we're going to be jumping into the world of Zilliqa, see what's been going on most recently with the price action of ZIL and what I would expect to happen next. As I get into this video, if you find it useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. If you have not yet joined us in Discord, links in the description down below. It's a fantastic community talking crypto 24/7. It's completely free, and I don't think you'll be disappointed by what you find down there, so why not go ahead and check it out today. If you're looking for a little bit more from the crypto space, everything from bear market strategies all the way through to project reviews and trading, then why not check out the Patreon services as well in the description below. Let's get into this though. So Zilliqa paired up with USDT. This is actually just a 4-hourly chart, but what I'm going to do is actually jump into the hourly because it does show us a little bit more of the detail of what is going on. So right down here you can see my low expectations for where I think this could potentially bottom out a little bit as Bitcoin pulls back down, but essentially this might not be done just yet. So let's actually go take a look at the stochastic. Okay, so it's got a little bit more room to work here, so we could be looking at pulling back down and then surging up a little bit more. So essentially there's a couple of different ways to look at this. We could look at this as the beginning of a 5-wave structure taking us down lower, which is also very possible. So we have some kind of 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 just taking us into this yellow box zone at the bottom here, and this actually comes in about 3.217 to 3.618 based on this current high. Or the other way of looking at this is it's actually hasn't finished this correction yet. A up, B coming down, and then C going up higher afterwards, and that would obviously change this low target as well. The higher that we move up in this 4th wave, the lower the 5th wave target becomes. So we'll just be a little bit cautious on this at the moment, but essentially on this kind of smaller scale at the moment as it stands, we should be thinking about 3.217 to 3.680. And so a little bit lower than my 4.2 cents target that I was talking about a little while ago. And obviously the main issue that we have is we need to keep this area here, right? This is basically 3.313, and this would indicate a an invalidation of a higher scale move, right? So if I actually come up into our daily chart here for a second, what we've been tracking is potentially this, right? A big wave 1 and a wave 2. Now wave 2 is not allowed to cross the origin of wave 1. So we know that 3.317 cannot be crossed, right? If we go past 3.317, then this structure going further forward is invalidated, and we will not see a 3rd wave, a 4th wave, or a 5th wave going up. And that would be really unfortunate for Zilliqa because it's got really good structure at the beginning end here as we start to really ramp up, as we've got this really good wave 1 is what I've labeled it. But in order for this to be a wave 1, we cannot have this drop down lower than 3.317. Okay, so just bear that in mind as I come back down into this hourly chart. Now, that would basically mean that going down to 3.217 would invalidate that, and you can see that on the chart here as this dashed line kind of moves through it. So we want to keep a really good close eye on that. In an ideal world, you want to come down now rather than pushing up so that we can get into this yellow box area and be done with it. Alternatively, we can of course go up higher than this dashed line. This comes in at 7.098, which would invalidate this 5th wave low. Okay, so by going up there, it would basically say that there is not going to happen. That low point is not going to happen. All of this here was actually just basically a zigzag pattern, and we don't have to worry about anything afterwards. So if we were to go higher than 7.098, then of course these low points are irrelevant. We don't have to worry about them, and we'll see some other corrections afterwards, but we'd hope that would be the end of it. But obviously if we ever did cross 3.313, that would mean that the macro structure is wrong and it's invalidated. We'd have to come up with a different strategy for what happens next to Zilliqa here, and whether or not we are as bullish, right? Because I think essentially on the daily chart here, this puts us at a really good point where we could potentially be looking at moving up to about $3.78, right? A really significant run. Now that would be putting Zilliqa at about it's about 7,400 from its current price approximately. So a lot of percentage gains to potentially be had there. So just kind of keeping a rough idea on what is going on when it comes to Zilliqa, right? So where it is right now at 5.1, to me seems like a really good place for dollar cost averaging, right? And I think most retail investors will have started dollar cost averaging into Zilliqa at the previous areas that I was talking about, between 8.77 and 4.2, because those were the areas where I was seeing the maximum amount of kind of value. Now, in terms of where it is and where it's sitting, if we take us from the high to the low, it dropped down 82%. So it's not the biggest correction in the space. It's it's very, very low. It's a deep correction, but it could, of course, still come down lower and reach some really unfortunately low prices. Anywhere below 2 cent is in fact possible. I don't think it's necessarily probable, but if we did lose 3.317, then that would change everything, and I think it would become very possible, and also it could be probable at that point. As long as we hold 3.317, then essentially, yeah, we don't have to worry about those things, and it just remains an 82% pullback, maybe a little bit more, and then we can start to talk about, this structure moving further up. Essentially, a wave 2 correction like this is incredibly deep. This is not an uncommon scenario. The most common I had marked out between 8.7 and 4.2. Obviously, that has gone, so we've gone a little bit deeper than the typical wave 2 retracements. But again, as long as we hold above 3.317, it is still potentially a wave 2. Alternatively, it could be a zigzag and we end up with only 5 waves going up into a third wave higher. But essentially, these things are where they are, right? And if we do not go down any lower and we actually hold this area, then if I were to move this over to the current low right here, then our third wave target comes in at 92 cents, okay? So again, a pretty good kind of return to be had there, about 1,759%, okay? So that would be your wave 3 kind of coming in there, or a zigzag completing it approximately there as well. So just kind of keep a few things in our heads, right? Where we think things are likely to go. But obviously, if we do drop down lower, we have to take all those extra variables into consideration. The main thing really that we need to focus in on are these invalidations, whether we're going to see 7.098 taking out the possible low points here as making them invalid, or whether we come down lower than, 3.313, not 37. That line's let me just check. So I want to just make sure I get this exactly right for you guys. It is 37, so that on there just needs to change to 37. There we go. So 3.317 is the correct number there. Apologies for that. So yeah, so that's kind of what we're looking for. That's kind of the expectations. These are the things that we want to be watching out for Zilliqa, and essentially, we want to make sure that we do keep this low point. If we do lose this, then it's going to be unfortunately really bad for ZIL slightly longer term, as the macro structure would change. Doesn't mean that it's not going to go up, of course. It's not a scam. It's not anything like that. And there's a lot of hurt retail investors in Zilliqa who may have been buying far too high, which is why I was telling people about these low points way up here. But yeah, people weren't necessarily believing that it was possible at the time. But anyway, essentially, it's not a scam. It's not. This is just how the market works. It will recover. And I personally do not sell my coins at a loss unless, of course, there's a fundamental reason to do so. With Zilliqa, there is no fundamental reason to do so. I would hold them until we go up into new all-time highs, in my opinion. I have not actually sold any Zilliqa either. I have been hodling the entire time. So again, it is what it is. I know Chris has also been dollar cost averaging into ZIL as well, around the 5 cent level. So again, really kind of optimistic on the future for Zilliqa. Guys, I'm going to leave the video there. If you have found this useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With all that said, done out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.